What home inspection should you get and what company should you hire if you're buying a house? I totally get it. There's like so many different home inspections out there. There's general home inspections, there's roof inspection, electrical inspection, heat and air inspection, there's structural inspection, there's mold inspection, septic inspection, sewer line inspection, air duct inspection. By the time you hire all these inspectors, it's going to be thousands of dollars, or I'm going to make this as easy as possible for you. I'm going to show you another option here. Now, you hire whoever you want. I am not here to tell you who you should hire and who you should not hire. And I'm not here to tell you which inspections you should do, but I can tell you the common denominator a lot of buyers use. Hi, I'm Rodney Dixon. I'm your Tulsa Realtor, and I've been doing this 27 years helping people just like you learn about Tulsa, Oklahoma and the surrounding suburbs and the real estate market out here. So this is why on Mondays I do Q&As. Today we're going to be talking about home inspections, which one you should get. So there are general home inspectors out there. They will look at a variety of things. Make sure that the company you are hiring for your home inspection is licensed for the state that you're in. Make sure that they also have a Better Business Bureau rating of at least an A. Make sure they do written reports with photos of problem areas, so that if you can't attend, you at least have something tangible so you can kind of see what they're talking about. General home inspectors, this is what a lot of buyers usually gravitate toward. So another thing that general home inspectors do is they pretty much look at everything. So they're going to look at the roof, they're going to crawl inside the attic, they're going to check the rafters and all of that. They're going to check the insulation level. They're going to run all the appliances, even the dishwasher, the oven, the microwave. They're going to run all the faucets throughout the house, see if anything's got a slow drain. If it does, that's going to be in the report. They're also going to make recommendations based on what they see. So if they see some cracks and things like that, they may make a recommendation for a structural engineer, because it's really the structural engineer that can come and actually give a report based on what they would recommend to correct the defect or to stabilize what's going on, if you had to have some structural piers or anything like that made on the house. Now, there's nothing that says that you have to do that, but if they make a recommendation, usually there's a reason for that. Another thing they're going to look at, they're going to check all the outlets. They have these things that they plug in, and each outlet's going to tell them if it's grounded, if it's functioning properly. Your GFCI outlets, that's all throughout the house, in your bathrooms, in your kitchen, on the exterior of the house. Anywhere where there's some wet areas, you'll have some GFCI outlets. That right there just automatically pops if it gets tripped, just barely, so that you don't get shocked in those wet areas. They will check those out, make sure that those are functioning properly as well. Check all the drains, make sure everything's draining properly. If there's a common denominator that there's just a lot of slow drains throughout, they may make suggestions on what that could be from. They may also go ahead and make a recommendation to video your sewer lines, and they'll go to where it connects to the main sewer line. If it's septic system, well, they'll go and they'll recommend to have a septic inspection done as well. Right off the bat, if they're not making these additional recommendations, well, then, you might be able to save a little bit of money, especially where some of you might be coming in where you don't have any extra money to spend. I always recommend get all the inspections you can afford to get. Go ahead and get those taken care of, because there's nothing like sleeping good at night knowing that you did your due diligence with your inspection time frame. But listen, I totally understand. Sometimes we're just strapped. We don't have all the extra funds to spend here. They're also going to look at the porch. They're going to look at the patio. They're going to look at the garage, your driveway, if it's cracked up or anything like that. If they see anything weird, cracked or broken siding or missing siding on the exterior of the house, some of your roof shingles missing or damaged or anything like that, don't mention that in the report. If you're buying an older house or a house that's got the duct system in the floor, it's usually a good idea to go ahead and have that videoed as well. They'll sometimes rust out. If the grading, that's the ground, if it's higher up and everything's coming to your house, so when it rains really hard, you're getting all this water coming towards your house, well, it's important that you know that, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. Well, you may not know how important these things are. So you would be shocked at how many hundreds of items they will check. It's quite an experience. I always highly recommend that you be there in person. They're going to cover so much more in person than what they write in the report. The report is kind of dry. There's, it's just like point blank, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And that's why you pay them, is to find what's wrong. Every house has a lot of wrong things about it. The question is, are they very minor things that you could tweak on your own if you wanted, or you could just pay someone to take care of yourself? Or are they really serious items? Because if they're serious items and high dollar expenses, all right, well, we need to have a conversation, right? And see what that looks like when all the inspections are done. We need to get together and maybe come up with a game plan on how we need to approach the seller through the listing agent on asking the seller to do certain repairs on your behalf at no cost to you. Or you could walk away if the house doesn't inspect well at all and the seller's not willing to do anything. You could just do a mutual release. But you have to follow the contract to the T, which is another reason why you need a seasoned agent that's going to walk with you through the steps, keep you within your time frames of inspections per that contract. Because if you're outside of that contract, well, then you're not going to be walking away without a potential issue with the seller. And you should be able to get your earnest money back as well when you walk away based on the inspections were horrible with the house, or maybe the seller doesn't want to do any of the repairs that you've asked the seller to do. As long as you've done all of these within your time frame that you are allotted, then we're good. So this is where you need an experienced agent, someone that's been down this road many, many times. I'm happy to be that agent for you. If I can't be that agent for you, you at least need to find a seasoned agent, someone that's not part-time, someone that does this full-time, that's highly experienced, to make sure that everything is done appropriately. That way, when you do move into the house, you're totally pleased with it, you know what to expect, and you're happy with your purchase. So, at the bare minimum, I would do a general home inspection on a house that I'm buying. Even new construction, believe it or not, you'd be surprised. Here's what a lot of buyers generally do. They do a termite inspection, which runs about $110 to $200. And then they do a general home inspection, which can run around $500, $600, just depends on the size of the house. It could go higher than that, but at least you're going to get checked out. Same thing with the termite company. They're going to go around the house. They're going to look for wood rot. They're going to look for termite damage. They're going to look to make sure that you don't need a termite treatment because they might see live termites. What does that run? Depends on the size of the house, but just figure on average about $1,000. Can run up higher than that. Now remember, an inspection is a buyer cost. All right, I hope that helps someone. If that helped you, give me a thumbs up. Also, if you got value out of this video, feel free to share this video. And again, subscribe to the channel. If I can help you, Rodney Dixon, your Tulsa Realtor. Check out my other videos and we'll talk soon.